All right. Hello, everyone. We are live here with our friends Tia and Merlot. And of course, now Merlot's laid down, so we can't see her. Um, and Tia and Merlot are currently our top fundraisers. And unless things have changed in the last few minutes, they have now raised $8,000 during Move for PADS. So Tia, thanks so much for joining us again. We love having you back. Selfish motives here. I get to see my girl. Tell me how you guys are doing. Why don't we just catch up a little bit before we kind of dive into talking about Move itself. But how are you two doing? How's work? How's Merlot?
Good. Well, Merlot is tired. I think she still has a bit of a holiday hangover. So she's slowly working her way back into work. I think work is actually good for her, some downtime from actually her like revving high the whole time. She spent her holidays at 2 weeks at the lake. So almost as much time as she could in the water with Chanel, her sister. And yeah, so I think she's trying to figure out her way back in the workplace.
She's like, I need a vacation from my vacation because I'm exhausted. So
She's very tired.
now, we've had a few people ask us recently about Merlot and how she's doing as her sweet little chin starts to turn gray and she's catching up with Chanel there. Is she slowing down at work at all?
She is. She's definitely a different dog than obviously, well, I guess we're both different than we were from 7 years ago. But definitely some changes. And so we're just kind of monitoring her and making sure that she's being used in, I don't want to overdo it and totally push her into retirement tomorrow. So we're just kind of monitoring her day to day, hoping she wants to work a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, she's going to be the one that's going to tell us whether she's going to continue working or not.
Yeah. Well,
That's kind of sad, but at the same time, I want her to be able to get to, enjoy retirement, which is hard to kind of try to understand what that would be like for her because all they know is work. So yeah, it'll be adjustment for both of us when that time comes.
and I think too, the interesting thing, we say all they know is work, and yet our dogs that work think of work as a game. And so it's like, okay, this game you've played for like 7 years, you're not going to play every day anymore. And so I think that's something that we are very careful about at PADS. And when we're looking at retirement is, what does that transition look like? That the dog's not like, hey, hang on, where did all the fun in my life go? It's a little bit different for AFDs that kind of spend their days kind of hanging out with people and doing kind of more of those soft skills than the physical tasks, where our service dogs often, when they retire, like, oh, thank goodness, now I can just have a nap. Um, so, but that's it's such an interesting time and transition, but it certainly emphasizes the need for move as well. And so for those of you that are watching, welcome and thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on Zoom, and you want to ask questions, you can just click the Q&A box in the bottom of your screen, or if you're on a mobile device, click the little dots in the top corner and you'll see Q&A up there. And just throw your questions and we'd love to answer them. If you want to tell us where you're tuning in from, you can click the chat button. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, tell us in the comments where you are tuning in from. And also, any questions you have, throw those into the comment section on Facebook Live as well, and we will try and answer them. So let's get to like the fun topic. Tell me how on earth you have raised $8,000 to date. Like, you are outpacing us. I know I've had a really tough year donations wise. I think last year I was probably at about $2,500 at this point, and I don't even want to tell you where I am. But tell me how you've been moving and fundraising. Oh,
Well, I'm gonna check. So I just got a thing that came up saying my internet's unstable. So hopefully we don't. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You froze up for a second there, but I think you're all right now.
Okay, yeah, I got a little alert. So hopefully, if I might try to tell people to stop using their Wi-Fi, we'll see what happens here.
No.
So I honestly, I don't know. I think what it is really is like but it's really like, our donors are from all over North America, from what I can tell. And I think a lot of it is from people we've met through social media. Those people that are out, obviously not in Regina, is through our social media accounts for Merlot. And then really like just the generosity of, I know there's like individuals that have seen Merlot, doing her job and assisting, whether that's like other police officers, social workers, prosecutors, and some of the people we've met are survivors or their family members. And so it's really a huge cross section of people that from what I can tell, who have donated to us. I am so grateful because really, like, I don't know, we do our posts asking for money, and I think everyone's kind of in the same boat. No one ever likes asking for money, especially in the last few years. Money is so tight for so many people. And so to see how generous people have been for this shows how amazing the people are. And then also that people see the benefits of dogs like Merlot. Yeah, and just see the effects that they have on the people and the need to continue this program like throughout Canada and North America, because it is so amazing. Merlot looked up to me, she's like, yeah, I know I'm amazing. It's like, oh, she's gonna probably fall off the chair right now because we put her on a chair. So
well, and I'm laughing because Tia has this fancy technology that like tracks her voice and moves around, but it's interesting because I think when Merlot moves, it's like, oh, that person's going to talk now. Merlot, I think you should have a few things to say if the camera's going to pan to you.
If you could see her face right now, she's giving me her dirty look of, why am I on this chair right now and not on my bed?
So we can see your sweet face, little girl. Anyway, and your move bandana. It's so funny. I was worried about the move bandanas looking good on the black dogs, but I actually think they look even better on the black dogs. They look
really good. Really good. Yeah, and so back to, so Merlot just gets out.
She's like,
well, that's very dramatic.
She's
sorry, am I cutting out again?
No, I think you're good. I was going to say we are the queen of drama a little bit here. So,
oh yes, there's definite drama going on right now.
So if you're just joining us, we're here with Tia Fro and PADS Merlot, kind of chiming in from Regina, where Merlot works at the Regina Children's Justice Center. Say that 5 times fast. And she works with Tia and with children that have been victims of crime or trauma, and just making their lives just a little bit easier. And so it's amazing work that she does. Tell us a little bit about what that work is for folks that don't know Merlot. What does that look like on a daily basis?
Well, at our center, so we are a combination of police officers and social workers who work jointly to investigate allegations of physical and sexual abuse, and sometimes severe neglect of children. And so really, if anybody just wants to think about it, think of like a traumatic situation that you've been in, or sometimes, I know I use this when I teach the recruits, think of a sexual experience and then go and tell a whole room of people about that. Really that's what we're expecting these children to do with essentially strangers who are like, me or any of my coworkers. And so, some of the people that we do meet, they may have had, either themselves or their family members may have had a history with police officers or social workers, and it may not have been a positive experience. And so having to come in and talk about difficult situations, plus to individuals you may not have had a positive experience or good past with, is difficult. And so how Merlot and I get involved is our coworkers may get a file, and it could be someone who may have had those experiences that they don't want to talk to the police or social services. They're too traumatized. They don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about it, but they don't want to talk about it in the same sense. They have a history of maybe some suicidal ideations or history of like, depression, anxiety, and it's just overwhelming to come in and talk about these things. And so that's where Merlot comes into play. And so the investigators will ask us if we think it's somebody that we think we can work with. Really, we'll work with pretty much anyone as long as they aren't violent. And even in saying that, we've had some individuals who have had some violence, violent tendencies, but when they meet Merlot, they're more gentle than they probably are around, individuals. And so totally change of behavior. So Merlot becomes involved with those individuals and we meet them. I think she's going to end up sliding off the chair. They'll come to our center. We will meet them at our front entrance with their pillow. I don't know if I'm going to lose you guys again. We'll talk about Merlot and just sort of her history. I do some tricks. She likes to can still open and close doors, and she does her bow and her pound its and all of that sort of stuff. And just really just getting to be kids, around pets. And it's just a good icebreaker, really. We all know she snores. Anybody that follows Merlot on social media knows that chair snores really loud, and so the kids find that super funny. Sorry, she's trying to go underneath my desk because that's where she spends most of her day when we are in the office, and now she's giving me dirty looks because I blocked the
entrance to her nap spot.
And she's huffing. Oh, she made her she's gone. Okay, she made her way underneath my do the interviews of the individuals that have come in, and my partners will be doing the monitoring for the interviews. And then we also get involved when there's court, if charges have been laid, if they're going to court, we will work with our victim witness specialist as well as our victim services provider. And together we'll coordinate and do a team thing, doing court preps. And so Merlot is just that safety net for them, just getting prepared for court. And then we will attend court with them as well. And sometimes we attend court with individuals that we may not have interviewed, some reason that a need for Merlot at court, and we'll get involved with them as well.
So she's a busy girl is the short version of this story.
Yeah. Summer's good because court things, school's not in, and court typically isn't very busy over the summer, but school starts next week. And really what happens is lots of kids, most kids go back to school, and that's when we start getting lots of our reports. It's from our teachers, when kids start maybe disclosing or teachers notice things with their students. And so it picks up for our investigators here, as well as courts back in session typically too.
Yeah. So Meredith was just asking, she said there was a cool story behind your move goal this year. And I don't actually know what that is. Do you know what your number?
So trying to figure out what could I do differently, because I'm somebody who has to move, otherwise I might lose my mind. And so that's how my stress relief is moving all the time. So I was like, what could I do that's something different? And so I was going through all my notes, and I saw that, between court, interviews, I guess Merlot's also involved in our critical incident debriefs for our police officers. So if they've, attended difficult calls, things like baby deaths, officer involved shootings, that sort of thing, Merlot can attend those debriefs as well. And so I was going through all the critical incident debriefs, court and interviews, and over her time, over the 7 years, she has worked, made contact with approximately 1,000 people. And so I was like, okay, we've got 1,000 individuals and 7 years of work. So I was like, okay, so let's do 7 Hopefully I'm making sense. Yeah, the 7 times 1,000. So let's make our goal $7,000 to raise $7,000. And for the number 7, we'll do an extra 7 kilometers a day of some sort, somehow, whatever that may be, to get, to our goal. And so I was actually looked today before we signed on, and I was like, okay, so we were doing 7 kilometers a day. It's been 23 days for August. I should be at 161 kilometers. And so we've actually gone past that one as well. So might as well do that if we're surpassing our goal of 7,000. So we're at 229.15 kilometers as of today.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm impressed. Good job. So, and so has Merlot been moving with you, or has she just been jumping in the lake?
Well, she's done some of it. So when we were at the lake, we would go out and she and Chanel would do 3.5 kilometers with me, and then they would go back for a swim and I would carry on doing some more kilometers. So they did partial walks. And then when we're at work, she does all her walks with me. So she's in her kilometers too, which she figures she deserves extra treats for that as well.
Well, I mean, reasonable, right? I mean, she's raising the money, so some extra bonus treats would be lovely. So I'm just looking. So for those of you watching, I see lots of folks kind of online watching. If you have any questions, feel free to just throw them in the comment section. We will try and answer them for you. But we're going to be wrapping up here shortly. We're just here with Tia and Merlot, who is now hiding under the desk, having a nap, because that is our priority in life, is napping. And if folks want to donate to your campaign, the link is just in the comment section on PADS Facebook page. So you can go there and just click the link if you want to make a donation to Tia and Merlot's Move campaign. They are the current leaders at $8,000 as individual fundraisers. So way to go, ladies. We're so grateful for all of your hard work. And just the fact that, we kind of touched on at the beginning, Merlot's been with Tia for 7 years. I can't believe how the time has flown, that was 7 years ago that we were kind of there with doing press releases and stuff. Merlot was one of the 3 dogs were placed in Saskatchewan at the same time. And so Merlot was one of those 3. So it's been 7 years since you've had kind of justice facility dogs in the province. And do you want to tell us a little bit about what that has been like and how that's impacted communities? Because I know that's just something that has continued to grow across Canada, but you guys were the first in your province. And are you seeing more need and more understanding of the work that they do after 7 years?
Yeah, it's like that word just sort of travels. And so we've assisted in Saskatoon a couple times, and then in some small towns in Saskatchewan. And so we do get the requests, but obviously files or incidents that have occurred inside Regina is our priority. And sometimes we just can't make it all over to help everyone out. And so agencies, especially, I think, like our courts, I think really see the benefit, because I shouldn't say especially our courts, because we see it all around. Obviously, I'm a huge supporter and believer in it, or else I wouldn't be doing this. But just as soon as some people, it takes being able to see it actually, happen to believe it. Others are just like, oh yeah, I know a dog could come in and work wonders. But yeah, the demand is huge. I think the issue, and you would know this, is trying to find like somebody who wants to commit to doing the work. It's it's like taking your kid to work every day, right? But you're responsible for your partner all day long. And I was actually just joking about, I was talking about being at PADS 7 years ago, and how you guys send us off, give us our dogs, and they're like, hey, bond. and you are thrown into a world that like you thought you could kind of figure out how it was going to be like, and then you're just with your dog now for 24 hours a day for 7 years straight. Basically, I think I was joking. I think there's maybe 21 days out of the last 7 years that we've actually spent apart in the whole time. So that's a lot of time together. So you get to know your partner really well. But yeah, the need and demand for these dogs is huge. And so that's why I want to fundraise, is because I think that I wish every agency, especially police agencies, could have a dog working in their building, or more than one dog, right? Like you can use them in so many different areas that I think you could put I have ideas all over the place where you could be using these dogs, and you know, your child center is just one place in a police organization.
Yeah, we look at VPD that's kind of expanded. They have 3 dogs now, and so they've got a dog like Merlot that works with victims and courthouse and that kind of stuff. But then they also have a couple of dogs that are kind of on the kind of more on the employee wellness side, and kind of those critical incident debriefs, et cetera, kind of spreading the load around a little bit. So it's not all resting on one dog. And I know you've certainly seen kind of the amount of work that there is for Merlot is immense. And so it's always having to kind of balance her needs against kind of the needs of the community, both the greater community, as well as kind of your team and your staff, because certainly the benefits are phenomenal. So, you know, as Merlot is kind of getting up there and slowing down a little bit, which certainly highlights the need for us of having those successor dogs kind of ready to go, and, you know, kind of creating that continuity of care for communities. It's something that, you know, as our program has grown, we've realized the importance of that. You know, if Tia is working with a child on a case, et cetera, that, you know, knowing that there's not going to be a huge gap where she's not going to have a dog that is available, whether it's to go to court or be present for that court prep or the forensic interviews or whatever it is, but there just is that kind of continuity there, and kind of overlap even a little bit is kind of always our best case scenario. So anyway, super, super grateful you've taken the time to chat with us. Oh, hang on, I've got.
I say one thing quick, Tara.
Yeah, of course.
I forgot to in our fundraising. So we don't have it included. So, and I actually don't even know what the amount is in our fundraising part is we've partnered. So Level 10 is a gym in our city that Merlot and I go to. Merlot sleeps, I work out, and she entertains everybody there while she's there. But actually, so after last year's Move campaign, I was approached by them and they said, you know, we just love the fact that this fundraiser is about getting people to move and do some sort of activity. They're like, you know, we'd like to figure out how we can work with you guys. And so this year, Level 10 has been doing, like throughout the summer, outdoor workouts. And so Merlot and I attended one of the workouts in July when we could do that, when we were still in town. And so a portion from the passes that people were buying for these workouts is going to go towards Merlot's fundraising, as well as people had the option to bring cash or whatever to the outdoor workouts and donate to our fundraiser there. And so we're attending. So tomorrow night we have, I think it's the last workout. There might be a yoga after that, but tomorrow we're attending the workout in the park tomorrow night. And yeah, and so that is ending at the end of the month as well. So we'll find out what was raised from that at the end of the month too.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, huge thanks to Level 10. That's it's always so nice to have community partners that kind of come alongside and kind of help support, and also just kind of like that it's that mutually beneficial piece. Like, and part of the reason we designed Move the way it was we wanted to be very accessible and inclusive for like anybody that wanted to participate, but also just really focus on that wellness piece for our community. So for our clients and our volunteers and our staff and our supporters, and for everyone to kind of find different ways to kind of move, particularly during COVID. I think it was even more important than ever that people were kind of, you know, taking that time to kind of get outside and move their bodies and, you know, and in whatever form that it kind of takes. So thank you so much to the two of you for tuning in with us again. We love having you, and give that girl a scritch. I'm smiling because I see her little like baby photo up on the monitor behind you that goes back to her days with me. But it just is very, very cool to kind of see not just the impact she's having in the community, but her ongoing impact. I should go do a total and see, because you guys have participated in Move every single year, and I would hazard that you probably raised close to 25K, 30K at this point, if not more. You've raised just such a colossal amount of money over the last few years that kind of goes back into our programs and making sure there's more Merlots down the road. So thanks so much, ladies. I'm just double checking to see if there's any more questions here before we sign off. I do notice a hand up in our Zoom chat. If you have a question, feel free to throw it in the chat or click the Q&A button. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to kind of bring people on air, but if you can throw your question, we'll try and answer it quickly. But thanks everyone for tuning in with us. We've loved having you, Tia, and give that girl a smooch for me. And she's like, can you wake up Merlot? No, Merlot's like, I'm caffeine, friend.
If I got a treat, she'll get a Merlot.
She's all about the food. Some things never.
Oh yeah. Okay, Merlot here. Let's go. Come on. All right, jump on. This is very dramatic.
Very dramatic.
There we go. No,
Hello, Matt. She's like, and now let's lie down so you can't see me.
Okay, there we go. There's a saucy little lady right there.
Hi, saucy little lady. So nice to see you. All right. Well, so lots of comments just thanking you and saying congratulations, etc. So I'll let you go read those on the live stream once you sign off here. But thanks for joining us, Tia, and enjoy the rest of your Move event. I can't wait to see what that final total looks like. I'm thinking you guys at the rate you're going are going to break that 10K, but who knows? We shall see. So,
but like, I don't know. I was trying to think. I actually thought of that on the weekend. I was like, if I can make 10,000, like, what could I do? Like, I was like, I saw Laura's thing. I'm like, oh my God, jumping out a plane would be amazing. I was like, what could I do last
out of a
minute?
plane with Laura? We would totally make that happen. Not Merlot, only you. The dogs have to stay on the ground behind the fence.
If we did 10 grand, I would do it 100%. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's see if those donations kind of fire up there, because I think that would be super fun. Yeah, let's just make that happen.
Hey, you only live once, right? So go with a bang if that happens.
Go big or go home. That's what Laura was saying. She's like, I haven't really thought about it far enough that I can be scared yet. So, but had to do something big. So for those of you that aren't sure what we're talking about, Laura, our executive director, announced on the weekend that she's going to jump out of a plane if we hit our goal for Move. So she's going to head out to Skydive Vancouver in September, and not only jump, but also invite her highest donor to jump with her if they want, or they can simply watch her jump from the plane if that is what they prefer. Certainly, we're not going to make anyone do anything crazy, but that very much has to be voluntary. But you're more than welcome to come out and join in the fun. And Tia, you are absolutely welcome to come and join in the fun. So anyway,
and I'll figure out a way.
All right, well, let's make that happen. So the link is in the comment section. Feel free, folks, to go make a donation. Let's see if we can get Tia and Merlot to 10K so they get a jump as well. So, all right, ladies, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Everyone, see you.